What's up, everyone? All right, so part 2 of the G8 key recall and replacement video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take apart the key, what you need to do to program it, and explain a few things about the chip and the key itself and stuff like that. We're going to go over all that here. I'm going to show you what I got from the GTO G8TA website. Let me make sure I got that right. Yep, GTO G8TA website. Again, I'm going to have the link in the description. You can get the whole key fob with a blank key. You can get the back. You can get the chip. You can get the front. You can get all kinds of stuff for the G8 keys there. Highly recommend it. So let's get started. All right, so for an up-close video here, this is what I got. This is what I purchased. These are my keys that I have, the factory keys, flip keys. This one I'm not going to do anything with. I'm just going to have to reprogram it because whenever you program your keys, you have to program the keys together. If you don't, you're going to have the key that you didn't program unusable. It's not going to be programmed to the card, not going to be able to use it. But this key works fine. Everything about it is good. It's got a little bit of a gap here, but I'm not too worried about it. So we're not going to do anything with that. I'm just going to reprogram it later. So that's just there to show you how to do that. So this is the key that we are going to be replacing. As you can see, the cover is messed up. The flip key works fine, and the key itself works fine in the ignition. It's just this case is pretty beat up because it's been used for quite a long time, 10 years, 2019. All right, so I'm going to explain to you what I bought. I bought a new key fob with a blank key, and I bought a new emblem. Now, I bought this new emblem because I thought this emblem would already be attached to this key fob when I bought it. But surprisingly, it ships with it unattached. So the awesome thing about this is if you need to buy a key fob and you're gonna have to take it apart, don't worry about buying a new emblem because the new one comes with the emblem separate. So you don't have to worry about messing it up, because I was afraid I was gonna have to take this apart and I was gonna mess it up. So I believe, if I'm correct, we're gonna need to take out that screw. We're going to need to basically pry this top part off of this part, and then we're going to take this blank key out. Gosh, it feels good. Have a nice crisp flick there. We're going to take this blank key out, and we're going to replace it with my already cut key that still works fine. And that's going to be it for everything. We're going to put it back together. We're going to put the emblem on it, and then we're going to reprogram it. So stick around, and we'll get this going. All right, guys, so here we go. First thing we're going to do, I'm going to start with the one that's all torn up. That way, if we break anything, we break it on the one that's already messed up. So let's take this off of here. From what I remember, we're going to have to take this emblem off so that we can get this key out. Now, you don't have to take the emblem off to take this apart, but you have to take the emblem off to get this out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take the emblem apart now while the key is together, because it'll kind of give me more leverage. And I'm not worried about damaging this emblem, not only because I'm not going to be using this housing anymore, but also because I have an extra one. So if you are worried about damaging this emblem, I would suggest be a little bit more careful about it than this. Maybe use a razor blade or a thinner screwdriver if you have one, but I'm not really worried about it. So we're just going to try and get this off of here. I might have to get a razor blade real quick. Hang on, just to get it started. I hope I'm not cut myself. No, I broke it. It like chipped the glass, basically. Yeah, I would always suggest to just buy a new one because this is really hard, because there's no like recess in here to get the screwdriver or razor blade. You're just really on a edge, and it's really difficult. So these are really cheap. They're only like a couple bucks. So I would just suggest getting a new one. You, of course, want to be careful not to let this slip off and get you in the finger. That's what I'm trying to be conscious of. Oh, more breaking. Yeah, so let's see if you can see it. So if you can see that right here on this edge, it's like chipping away at that glass. But again, oh, okay, we got through to the bottom basically. See, it's of course got an adhesive underneath it, and I'm getting this corner up, but the adhesive on the other parts of it are pulling it back down and causing it to chip. Come on. Oh. I would also suggest some safety glasses, because if this comes off and gets in your eye, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pleasant at all. You know what? I'm actually going to do that. Because you can see these little pieces here, they're popping up and I can see them flying. I don't want them getting in my eye. There we go. Alright. So it's just got some adhesive on the back of it there. And it cracked the glass here. But again, I got an extra, so I'm not worried about it. Alright. So that's what we needed to do so we can get the key out of this top part here. So let's get this apart. So from what I have also read, to get this apart, it's pretty easy. I might need something thinner, maybe another razor blade. But from what I've read, you just put some pressure on this here, and it should pop forward. Should. There it goes. Okay. So basically what I did with the screwdriver there is I just put it on there, pushed down and twisted it a little bit. So I went down and twisted just a little bit and it popped it free. Oh man, look at all that. That's all pocket lint, guys. That's all dirt and pocket lint. Look at that. So this holds your battery, and I can't remember if the chip is in here. I think the chip is in here. I think the chip is in the key part. But there's a chip in here somewhere. We're going to try and find it. So next thing, there is a little tab right here, and it's really easy to break, but you got to pull that tab down and separate this. Basically, this part is going to come up off of this part. Let me get in frame again. So this part is going to come up off of this part once we pull this little tab down. Let me see if y'all can see that tab. I'm going to put my finger under here. I'm going to put some up pressure with my thumb while I pull this tab out with this screwdriver, so I don't bend it too much. Just bend it enough to get it to come off there, hopefully. Hopefully. Again. Oh, well, I broke it. Shit. It doesn't take much. Alright, well, does this need to come out? From what I remember, you're just supposed to take that little tab off, and this should pop out. But it's not popping out. Alright guys, so I messed up. So this is why I did it on this one, the broken one, before I did it on the new one. And I even told y'all we needed to do this, but I forgot to take that little screw out. So that's our issue. We're gonna take that screw out real quick. Phillips head. That is what is holding us back. That Phillips head. Oh, I need like some watch tools for this thing. Alright guys, so I got a real tiny screwdriver here, and that should get this taken care of. It's a tiny little thing. Alright, so yeah, there it goes. It's coming apart already. Okay, so with this other one, I'm going to take that screw out right now so that I don't forget about it, because I don't want to break that tab unless I absolutely have to. So one thing you want to be careful of, this spring in here. That's not going to really shoot out and hurt anything, but the thing is, if it shoots out and you lose it, your key will not like flip anymore. It'll just be in there and it'll just be loose. So when you're taking that out, gosh, there's all kinds of dirt in there. When you're taking that out, you want to be careful of that. We should have a spring in here, of course, because it already flips. So whenever we're taking this spring out, we need to be very careful not to lose it, but we've got a backup here just in case, because this spring still works. So let's put all this over here. That right there, that right there, and that. So what we're gonna need out of this is this right here, this key. We're gonna put that there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take this screw out now, so don't forget about it. Oh, come on now. Don't be doing that. It's too big. There we go. It was slipping a little bit, so I got a slightly bigger screwdriver for this new one. Go ahead and take that out. So now what should be holding this together is that little tab inside. And we don't have anything to worry about with that because we've already got that out. So we're going to go ahead and separate this. I'm going to try and be as gentle as possible because I don't want to break my brand new piece. And since, of course, it's a new piece, it's probably going to be pretty stiff. Okay, there we go. Sweet. All right. So we got that apart. There's a couple little itty-bitty marks there, but nothing that I'm going to be worried about. I mean, if I really needed to, I could probably like sand that down or something. So, oh, while we've got this apart, I forgot. So here's the chip. Here's that itty bitty little transponder chip that you need so that the key will work. It's right in there. And you gotta have some real itty bitty tweezers to get that out. And it's a real pain. So I suggest just getting a whole new fob because it's just easier. All right, so again, what I'm going to do now that theoretically we don't have anything holding it back except for that tab, excuse me, I'm going to use my thumb and I'm going to put upward pressure on this part while I pull that tab back, and it should pop out. Hopefully everything doesn't come apart flying. Oh, and we lose the spring because we almost did. All right. Oh, okay. All right. Chill now. Chill. All right. So we got that. Where's our key? There's our key. Now you can use the same cylinder thing if you want to. It's this little thing inside the key. I'm just going to go ahead and use the new one just because we've got the new one. Well, said it was. There we go. Let's blow out some of that dirt, shall we? All right. Blew some dirt out of there. So now we got to put this back together. So it's going to go back together like this. So the best way to do this, to remember how it goes back together, this hole in here, the spring has to go into it and then it has to go down on this little pin. So you just put that into your key. Well, it goes in the other way, I'm sorry. So we got to take this back off. It goes up into your key like so. And then our spring is going to go in here, and there's a little spot in here for the spring. You can see that little gap right there. See that on the camera? There's a little gap right there that spring's going to go into. And we're going to put this back together where it will still flip. And we're going to do that right now. All right, so I had to look at this real quick because, so we're going to take this out. I'm going to show you. If you look in here, if you can see that, can the light get in there right if you can see that? Hang on. All right, so if you can see in there, there's like a little U-shaped thing, and that U-shaped part is going to connect to this little end of the spring here that's sticking out. Let me get my big hand out of the way so you can get some light. You see that little end? Can you see that? That little end right there? That's where that's going to connect. So what I'm going to try and do is put this on here first, because it goes into the key. So this is your button. This is your button. It goes into the key. Excuse me. Button side up. Right? That's how it goes into the key. So we can put this button onto the spring and then put the key down on top of it. So we're going to try that real quick. Or actually, you know what? Let me do it this way. Let's do it this way. So now I can see what I'm doing. this in here. Let me get under some light here. Alright, so we got it in the channel, I guess you would say, and it's not moving. So now we're going to keep pressure on this and put this into there, and then we're going to put our key on it. Now we're going to need to basically rotate this key a few times so that we have tension, right? And you can do this a couple of ways. You can either put this on there and then rotate the whole piece. You can rotate this whole piece with the key, or you can just do it like this with the key out. I'm going to do it with the key out, and then go from there. So we're going to rotate this 2 revolutions. 1. It is kind of hard to hold on to like this, I will admit, but I think I have a reason, or I have a reason why. I'll show you. So then there's 2. All right, so now I'm going to push this down in here into this channel so it holds it all together, and then we're going to put this top on. Okay. Whoa, whoa, hang on. There's some lint in here. We don't need that. Get out of here. We don't need you. Ooh. Get on there. All right, so everything's flush. Put this top on. You want to be careful not to get it behind, or get it in front of the tab like this. You need it to be behind this tab, right? Get all that lined up and click it together, which of course is always easier said than done. Come on. Hang on. No. There we go. All right. So now that's back together. Okay. So let's see how it flips. Oh, it flips good. Okay. So 2 revolutions of the key, or if you had this on here, you would just do it 2 revolutions of that, and it's counterclockwise. Okay. Counterclockwise. So 2 revolutions of the key gives us a real good strong flip. I like it. It feels about as strong as it was before we took it all apart. So I used the new cylinder part that I was talking about, the button, because you can see this one's all scratched up, dented and stuff from my nail and dropping it and all that kind of stuff. Now we got a new button. The key, of course, is, you know, not the greatest shape, but that's fine. And so now the only thing holding this together is that little tab. So we're going to go ahead and put the screw back in, because that's what's going to hold it together indefinitely. Like, even if you break the tab, this screw will still hold everything together, so you'll still be fine. But, you know, it's always best to not break things that you want to keep most of the time. That's what I recommend. Okay, this is a bigger one. All right. Okay. All right, so that's all back together now. It's nice and tight. There's no slack. Flips out real good. You know what? I didn't even look in this to see if that chip was in there, but, well, you know, we got it right here. Screw it. Let's just make sure, because I've heard horror stories of people getting these from eBay and Amazon and stuff, and the chip not being in it. Now, I got this from an actual distributor, so I would hope that that wouldn't be the case, but just to see why, let's make sure. And of course, it's in this top part, so we're going to take all this freaking apart again. Let's try and do it gently. So it's over here on the tab side. Okay, chip is in. Okay. All right. Ooh. Oh man. Once you get this to, because the problem now is, see, it's clipped into this front clip, but the back part back here hasn't clipped in. So it's putting, it's tilting it. I'm trying not to, okay. Just pop that loose. Let's try and pop that part in first. Now the clip is in. All right, so now let's put the screw back in. It's always best to check while you can, instead of putting it all back together and then having to take it all back apart again, because then you're just gonna hate yourself for it. You're gonna be like, dang it, I should have just done it when I could. All right, so that is all together now. Now, another thing I'm going to suggest, we're gonna put all this back together. I'm going to suggest to not put the emblem on until you have programmed this key and you make sure it works. Because if you need to take this all apart again to get your key out of here to put it back in your old fob, you're gonna have to break an emblem. So I'm not gonna put an emblem on this just yet. We're gonna snap this all back together. Simple as that, right? Now, this new fob should still work. This fob should still work until we hit the program button. Since I've got this one apart, we're just not even gonna worry about it. If I wanted to, I could put this back together with a blank key or get this key cut and have a spare, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now because I've already got an extra key fob. But you can have more than 2 key fobs on your car. I think you can have like 3 or 4, or I mean, I think you can have up to 4. I know you can have 3 for sure, but I think you can have up to 4. So we're gonna go program these. It's gonna be the next step of this whole situation and go from there. Oh, this one, gonna have to give it some help. There we go. The spring in this one's a little messed up, but it still works if you flick it. All right, enough playing around.